Namaste. Welcome to my YouTube channel DG Economics. In this video tutorial, we shall discuss about price elasticity of demand and types or degrees of price elasticity of demand. At first, we discuss price elasticity of demand. It is a measure of how much quantity demanded of a good respond to a change in price of that good. That means price elasticity of demand measure how much quantity demanded of a good changes due to the change in its price. It is computed as the percentage change in quantity demanded of a good divided by the percentage change in its price. Mathematically, it can be written as EP equals to delta Q by Q into 100 or divided by delta P by P into 100, or EP equals to delta Q by delta P into P by Q, where EP is equal to price elasticity of demand, delta Q is equal to small change in quantity demanded, delta P is equal to small change in price, Q is equal to initial quantity demanded, P is equal to initial price. Okay, now some note. The calculated value of price elasticity of demand is known as coefficient of price elasticity of demand. It has no unit. It is unitless, always expressed in percent. It has always negative. That means in calculating price elasticity of demand, we get negative result. It is because it explains the inverse relationship between quantity demanded and price of a good. It is a beauty of price elasticity of demand. It has 5 different values. They are 0, less than 1, equal to 1, greater than 1, and infinity. For example, EP is equal to minus 3. Then what does it mean? It means when price of a good decreases by 1%, quantity demanded of that good increases by 3%. Alternatively, when price of a good increases by 1%, quantity demanded of that good decreases by 3%. Okay? Based on these 5 different values, there are 5 types of price elasticity of demand. Okay, now types of price elasticity of demand. 1. Perfectly inelastic demand. Second, relatively inelastic demand. Third one is unitary elastic demand. Fourth is relatively elastic demand. And fifth one is perfectly elastic demand. We will discuss one by one. Okay, now first one is perfectly inelastic demand. If there is no change in quantity demanded of a good, no matter what happens to its price, then the demand is said to be perfectly elastic demand. That means in perfectly elastic demand, whatever be the price, the quantity demand remains unchanged, where EP is equal to 0. Some essential goods like medical, medicine, salt, etc. may be considered as the example of it. In such case, the demand curve is parallel to vertical axis. Okay, now we draw demand curve. Figure perfectly inelastic demand. Y-axis, x-axis, then is demand curve which is parallel to y-axis. Quantity demanded is measured in x-axis, price is measured in y-axis. Okay, when price increases from rupees 4 to rupees 5, the quantity demanded is remain constant at 100 unit. Here, an increase in price, what happened? Leaves the quantity demanded unchanged. Okay, whatever be the price, quantity demand is fixed. Okay, now second point. Second one is relatively inelastic demand. If quantity demanded of a good is relatively unresponsive to change in its price, then the demand is said to be relatively inelastic. There is percentage change in quantity demanded of a good is smaller than the percentage change in its price. That means large change in price result smaller change in quantity demanded. Okay? Here EP is always less than 1. The goods that are more essential to everyday living and that have fewer substitutes have relatively inelastic demand. For example, staple food. Staple food is a food that is eaten routinely in our dinner, lunch, etc. In such case, demand curve is steeper. Okay, now we draw demand curve. Figure relatively inelastic demand. Y-axis, x-axis, origin, okay, that is demand curve, which is steeper. Quantity demanded is measured in x-axis, price is measured in y-axis. Okay, when price increases from rupees 4 to rupees 5, quantity demanded decreases from 100 unit to 90 unit. Here, a 25% increase in price, what happened? Leads to a 10% decrease in quantity demanded. Okay, here is large change in price result, small change in quantity demanded. Okay, now third one is unitary elastic demand. If the percentage change in quantity demanded of a good is exactly equal to the percentage change in its price, then the demand is said to be unitary elastic, where EP is equal to 1. It is the theoretical concept cannot be applied in practical situation. In such case, the demand curve is uniform sloped. Okay, now we draw demand curve, figure unitary elastic demand, that is y-axis, that is x-axis, origin, that is demand curve which is uniform sloped. Quantity demanded is measured in x-axis, price is measured in y-axis, and when price increases from rupees 4 to rupees 5, quantity demanded decreases from 100 unit to 75 unit. Here, a 25% increase in price leads what? To a 25% decrease in quantity demanded. Okay, here change in price and change in quantity demanded are exactly equal. So it is unitary elastic demand. Okay, now next one. Next one is relatively elastic demand. If the quantity demanded of a good is relatively responsive to price changes of it, then the demand is said to be elastic. The percentage change in quantity demanded is larger than the percentage change in its price. Here if is greater than 1. The goods with many substitutes like luxurious, which demand curve can be easily postponed, have higher elastic. Okay. Now in such case the demand curve is flatter. We draw demand curve, relatively elastic demand, x-axis, y-axis, quantity demanded is measured in x-axis, price is measured in y-axis, that is demand curve which is flatter. And when price increases from rupees 4 to rupees 5, quantity demanded decreases from 100 unit to 40 unit. Here, a 25% increase in price leads what? Leads to a 60% decrease in quantity demanded. That means small change in price results large change in quantity demanded. So it is relatively elastic demand. Okay, now last one. What is last one? Perfectly elastic demand. When insignificant change in price results in finite response in quantity demanded, then it is known as perfectly elastic demand. Here, at any price, consumer can purchase any quantity that is available, but small fall in price result in finite increase in quantity demanded. Any small rise in price will drop the quantity demanded to 0. Okay, here if is always infinity, and it is a theoretical concept, cannot be applied in real situation. In such case, the demand curve is parallel to horizontal axis. Now we draw demand curve, figure perfectly elastic demand. Okay, x axis, y axis, that is demand curve which is parallel to x axis. Okay, quantity is measured in x axis, price is measured in y axis. Demand curve is measured at rupees 4. At exactly rupees 4, consumer will buy any quantity which is available, but at any price above rupees 4, quantity demanded is 0, and similarly at a price below rupees 4, quantity demanded is infinite. Okay, so it is perfectly elastic demand. Okay, now are you clear? If you have any queries, please inbox me. In next video tutorial we shall discuss more interesting topic. Thank you.